And hello, Laura. Okay, guys. Good evening, everybody. I just have a couple of announcements before we get to our special guest. First of all, I wanted to let you guys know tomorrow's Tuesday night opportunity presentation by the company is Blue Elam. If ever in the history of the world you were going to have somebody tune into a Zoom, you want them to hear Blue. He is the most humble, amazing, loving, just down to earth gentleman. So if you have people that are new, that have come in through the free enrollments, taking advantage of that, if you have customers they're thinking about the enrollment, the free enrollment, whatever, whoever you can, invite them to this. If ever there were a time to see the profile of our company, it's the greatest man that they can hear it from. So that's tomorrow night. The other thing was on the Monday morning call, Sharice Matthews mentioned that she had a customer of hers tune into the beginning of the Success Mastery that took place on Saturday morning. She had a customer tune in to Brian Dixon talking about our products. And after that, and it was specifically for the customer to get more education. After that, the customer got a hold of her and said, how do I cancel my Protandem? And Sharice was like, oh no. She said, because now I want to get the Tri-Synergizer. So, and now that is leading to the fact that she is now going to be on the Tuesday night opportunity presentation. So I just think that's a great thing to keep in mind, that our company right now has such great tools that are so duplicatable for anyone to utilize. Success Mastery, every Saturday. We always know that Brian Dixon is going to start it off and he's going to talk about the science, and he does it in such an amazing way. And then to lead someone to the opportunity presentation on Tuesday night by the company, they have all been phenomenal so far. I just think that's kind of a great thing to keep in mind. And then I'm going to share something really quick I want to make sure that you know about that's going to be happening Wednesday. Okay, so this right here that you see, home-based success stories. Marisa Harrelson has kind of headlined this. Nikki knows about this as well. And she's heard about this from other teams. Team Heart, Rachel Jackson's group does it. There's a team in Mexico that is doing it with great success. They've had a lot of enrollments actually come from this. And basically what they're doing is we're just going to be sharing stories that people have from about having their own home-based business. No company, no products. We're not even going to be mentioning the word network marketing. We're specifically going to talk about the benefits of having a home-based business and what it has done for us. And there will always be somebody from different backgrounds. There will never be more than 4 people. The goal is to keep it around 20 to maybe 30 minutes, no more than 30 minutes. And this is something I would highly recommend promoting to people, promoting on your page, promoting in your stories. I will send out this graphic for you, and then I'll send you this information as well. So this is going to stream through Marisa's Facebook page, her public page, and this is something you could do a watch party then on your personal page. So you could basically market that this is happening on Wednesday, educating people about your story, why you got involved, and then they could tune in to hear from other people on Wednesday, and you could do the watch party on your page. I think that's a great idea. Or people can tune in directly to the Zoom and hear the stories from there. This is going to take place every Wednesday for the rest of April for sure. If we find success with it, we'll continue doing it, but we wanted to do it for sure in the month of April when we have the free enrollments. Next Wednesday, Nikki and I will both be a part of that. And again, I just think it's something, if you are smart about it and you market it ahead of time, sharing your story, what having a home-based business has done for you, and then have that watch party, it could really create some buzz and some great connections for you. So now I asked Nikki to be our guest tonight because she always brings so much good energy, so much joy, and we all just need more of that. We all need shots in the arm of that right now. And I don't know if everybody on this team knows her story, and I just wanted her to kind of go back, take us back to the day that she was invited to LifeVantage and how she was invited And if she said yes right away, and what got her attention, and what makes Nikki sitting in a position too today, you guys, where in this economy, she dug her well before she was thirsty. And she is sitting on a beautiful leveraged income that is giving her peace of mind for her family. And that's what I want all of you to have in your lives as well. So, and then how she's kind of sharing today and how she's utilizing the company's tools. So, Nikki, take us back, girl. Tell us.
Girlfriend, you just told me a whole lot of stuff to try to remember. So let's start with my story, and then you poke me and tell me which way to go after that. How's that sound?
Promise.
Okay. Well, hi guys. It's so nice to see everybody. And Marcy, I don't know what he's making behind you, but I think I want some of that. I can see him with the mixer and the bowl and all that stuff. It looks like it's going to be something good.
It's fudge.
Oh, yeah, that sounds good. That'll put a smile on your face, right? Okay, well, let's think 2020. I'd like to say which time I was asked to be looking at LifeVantage, because it took me a while, you guys. I didn't just have somebody say, hey, check this out. It took me a long time to get my attention. However, it really was probably only about a month and a half, but it seemed like it kind of, I was asked about it a lot by one person, and that was Joanne Shear-Parkin, and you guys know her. She's also in your upline, and a fabulous, fabulous gal, and she was my boss at the Avera Heart Hospital where I worked here in town. She actually had been my mentor for many, many years. Let's see, I can't even tell you how long we worked together before. Maybe 8 years we worked together before LifeVantage came into our life. But it was her and Dr. Mark Gordon. Both of them worked with me closely, and I saw Dr. Mark's patients, and Joanne saw some of his as well. And we always thought outside the box and had a lot of strategies that were different than everybody else's. And when we think about LifeVantage and we think about Nerf 2, because that was all we had back then, we were a one-trick pony. That was what was our flagship. And so that was what caught my attention. And I thank God every day that she was persistent, because I honestly was not wanting anything to do with anything they were talking about, really. I had 2 little kids. I had a lot on my plate. I had just stuff going on. And for some reason, she kept asking me, and I finally went to a meeting and just kind of sat in the back like, really, why am I here? And I went through all the different things in my mind that I should have been doing besides sitting at this meeting, listening to these people, right? And then Dr. Mark got up front of the room and started talking about the research. And I was like, oh, okay, now I'm totally getting why Joanne is here, because she's a research guru just like me. And there's research with this product, huh? Because Joanne and I, when she was starting this business, she didn't know really all the things to do. And I sure didn't know all the things to do. Like, Joanne never mentioned a lot of the details. She just told me to come to that meeting, right? And so I went, and my mind was open. I was really, really interested. And after listening to that, and remember, you guys, we had probably about 5 or 6 studies back then. I was dead set on not leaving the meeting without getting this Nerf 2 that they're talking about. And I just wanted to be a customer. And this is one of the reasons why we always want to make sure we bring up the business too, right? Not prejudging, whatever. And I know Joanne thought of me as the business, but she really wasn't the one that was doing the following up with me. She wasn't the one going, hey, Nikki, let's get you started. Let's do this, whatever, whatever. It was Mark. And looking back, I'm like, oh my gosh, they did such a slick little maneuver on the 3-way thing that they didn't even really know. I didn't know they were doing it. I don't think they really knew they were doing it. But Mark said, hey, Nikki, why don't you be a distributor? And I was like, yeah, no, I'm not interested in doing that. Why would I want to do that? I've got all these other things I'm doing, and I'm doing just fine. Like, I don't need this. Like, I'm good, but I want to take the product. And if he wouldn't have asked me that, maybe Joanne would have mentioned it later. But maybe she wouldn't have. I was an outpatient dietitian, so I saw a lot of product and a lot of people telling me how great their products were, but they just didn't have the research to back it up. And so knowing that, you know, we're involved with a company that has that research was an amazing thing. And that's really, honestly, the reason why I'm sitting here. Because if I wouldn't have known there was the research, I would have had zero interest in the product, like the other products that I had heard about. And so I just like to think of it as like this perfect storm. And I don't know about you guys, but after you've been in the business a while and you look back and you see like how everything just had to work out just the right way to be able to have the group you have, or have the ability to be in the business, and just keeping track of that stuff, you guys, because that, like, I look back and see how everything was kind of laid out in front of me. And thank goodness I was open enough to be able to watch for those and see those things. Same thing with the people that I prospect now, you know, and talk to. It's you see those connections and you stay open to those connections and you just pay attention and kind of see how that works and love on people. I think, you know, when Tanya was mentioning something about, you know, things that I lean on now, or what do I use now? And I think back then, and Tanya knows this too, because she's been around a long time as well, just like me, but, you know, we're always learning. But I feel in the beginning, we didn't connect a lot with people first. I feel like we got them information and pushed them to other things quickly to sift and sort quicker. But I don't think that was necessarily the best way to do it. I feel like now, when we talk to people about forming those connections and having a relationship with them, or listening and identifying their pain, sharing our pain with people, makes us vulnerable, but it also makes it so they want to share with us. And really hearing more of their story is so important, because we don't want, and I just got off the phone talking with another gal about this tonight who was recently involved in the business and then kind of stepped back, but now wants to be more involved, which is amazing. So keep that in mind for other people in your organization to check on them, because things have changed, obviously. But really, I had mentioned to her, I know you know this, but let's just a reminder, make sure you love on these people. Let them know why you thought of them. And she was prospecting a nurse. And I'm like, you know, like when I look at me, my life was about teaching people and learning and still learning and teaching them and wanting to still have that opportunity. And this gives me that. And so knowing this gal's a nurse, you know, she wants the same thing. She loves taking care of people and giving them options and making them feel better and all of that. And we have all those things, which is so cool. So that's one of the things that really sticks out to me. But I also want to tell you that when I first started, I thought I knew exactly how to do this. I thought I was good. I was a good person, and I'm still a good person, but I thought I had it all figured out. Like, I'm, you know, no, dude, I don't need to change. I don't need to grow. I'm good. I'm fine. I'm perfect just the way I am. I like myself, right? And then I get in this business and go, ooh, this hurts sometimes. And this is really fun, but sometimes it sucks. Like, why are they looking at me like I have 3 heads? I just told them about this amazing thing. Can't they see that? And so the roller coaster of the up and down in this whole business can be really hard sometimes, but it can be really super crazy awesome too. And I know that all of us have at one point probably been on the highs of that roller coaster and the lows of that roller coaster. And that's okay. Because like when I look at it, some of the things that I've gone through with this, and the learning and stretching points, remember the stuff I didn't think I needed, when I'm like, oh man, that kind of hurt a little bit, but I needed it. That's good. Like now I feel like I'm continuing to evolve and I see that it's a personal growth journey. But that stuff's good stuff, because that needs to be part of our story too, where people understand that, you know, just because the Pro 10s and 9s and 8s and things are talking on the Success Mastery on Saturday doesn't mean that they get yeses all the time. They get told no too, you know, and they've had really crappy days and really awesome days too, and that's just part of it. But when I worked my other job, my real job, I always would say, when I worked at the hospital, there was a whole lot of stuff I didn't want to do there either. And I wasn't really growing. I was just checking it off my list, right? And getting it done because I knew I had to do it anyway. And so part of this is we have to have some no's to be able to get those yeses. And that just makes us into a better person and makes us so that we can relate to all those new distributors that are still coming to us in 2020 and those customers that are coming to us. And, you know, one of my favorite things, and I was just talking to some people tonight about that too, is with this, and you guys have maybe heard this before, but with what's going on, we don't even have to mention what's going on. Everybody knows and everybody's affected. And so what I have loved to be able to say, and contacting my people from like networking groups and all of that, I just say, hey, you know what? Like I talked to a guy today or this week. I said, hey, you know what? I know that you were interested in Axio and you wanted to wait till the summer to look at it. And that's awesome. That's perfect. But I want to let you know that our company is having a complimentary distributorship for the month of April. And I didn't know if you knew of some people that would maybe be interested in doing that. So I'm just really trying to help people out and wanting to see what else is out there. And then I said, also, if there's ways that I can help you in your small business and getting the word out, let me know. And then he responded back and he said, well, I want to know. I'm interested. I'm always looking for opportunities. And so then in like 3 minutes later, I'm messaging back and now we have it. He wants the Zoom. I sent him the Zoom that I did on the corporate PowerPoint. And he's like, instead of me going, hey, what time in the next couple of days works for us to get together or chat? He's like, tomorrow afternoon between 2 and 4:30 works for me to visit. I'm like, okay, you know, it's like a whole different thing, right? And that's nothing that I usually get. And so it's just a really big breath of fresh air, knowing that people need this and knowing that we might have the perfect answer. However, I'm going to also disclose to him that just like in his business, you work hard, you get paid for that, you know, and everybody has to do their own part. This isn't just, hey, I'm going to sign up and make a lot of money, or hey, I'm going to sign up and get customers and all this. It's making sure that he knows and he's aware of the fact that, you know, he needs to work to be able to build the business. But it's just a breath of fresh air and a brand new slate for all of us to be able to use moving forward. And Tanya talking about blue, I'm like, man, that guy, like you have to have 16 Kleenexes and waterproof mascara. Guys, I know that doesn't include you, but I'm serious. Like the guy's story, it was amazing before they got in a car accident as a family. And before, I mean, he's just like has the best heart and is a total gentleman. And you're absolutely right, Tanya, in your description. I just absolutely loved it. And it will be so good tomorrow. And he just comes from the heart and he's super easy to listen to. And just a really, really, really good guy. Trying to think of what else you wanted me to talk about, Tanya.
Now, I love how you talked about, like, because I think when you look at statistics of network marketing, so many people don't want to go through the hard. They don't want to go through the nose. And so they don't become that 2 or that 5%er, right? Mm-hmm. And everybody on here tonight, you're basically in that category already because you continue to show up and plug in. And it's just so important what you said. The nose and the hard is what leads to the story we have to have for the people that are going to come into our business later on. Like it's there Absolutely. To teach us and train us and equip us. And I love that you gave us basically a script. I will put this recording on, but I love how you said we have a complimentary distributorship available for people that are looking. Would you know anyone? It's that kind of backdoor approach, right? Ray Higdon talked about that a little bit. And look at the feedback you got. That was said so beautifully. I won't make you say it again because I know what that's like to regurgitate what you said.
Well, and complimentary distributorship is easier to type in an email than say out loud. It's a tongue twister. I'm like, oh, that's a hard one to say. But yeah, and you know, and they don't.
More gentle than the word free enrollment. That even sounds right. Like it just, I love that.
Well, just FYI, full disclosure, that's Joanne Shearer talking because Joanne's been a part of my life for like probably almost 18 years. And she would never let me say free at the hospital. You always had to say complimentary or included. So just so you know, those are her words, complimentary or whatever. So I just flipped that into the conversation to make it so that it was really appealing. So one last story I want to tell you too. So Tanya is a direct sign of Shauna Michelle Poe, right? And so back when I first started in LifeVantage, back eons ago, let's rewind to, I feel like this is Days of Our Lives or rewinding back to that. But anyway, so I'm looking at Candy. Thanks for laughing with me, Candy. But so I was going to a meeting and I was that person that invited one person to the meeting. And as I sat there, all these other people are coming into the meeting and they're like, hey, Nikki, how's it going? Hey, Nikki, how's it going? I'm like, who invited them? Why didn't I do that? Right? And this was way early, you guys. So I believe, so I signed up March 1st, 2011. Sean and Michelle signed the end of March. I think this was probably early summer, and I had a chiropractor that I invited. He never showed up. All these people were there saying hi to me, and I should have invited them, and I could have, right? Because they all knew who I was, and I knew them. And I was so angry sitting out in that lobby at myself that I left. And I was done and I quit. I didn't want to do this anymore. And Mark Gordon was the one doing the meeting. And I was crying. I got into my Jeep and I was driving home and I was just so mad at myself. And I'm like, I can't do this. This is too flipping hard. I can't do it. It's not for me. I'm not doing this anymore. I'm done. And Mark called me and he's like, where are you? And I'm like, I left. And he's like, what do you mean you left? Your guy just showed up. I'm like, I don't care. I left. I'm going home. I'm done. I can't do it. He's like, what are you talking about? I'm like, I can't do it. I'll talk to you tomorrow. I don't know. Good night. And that's it. And I was like, I'm done. I can't do this. It's too hard. And because I came from a place where if I told you to do something for weight loss, you would do it, right? You'd be like, oh my gosh, okay, Nikki, yes, absolutely. Like, okay, that's perfect. I will do whatever you say and granted, they didn't do it all the time, but they took my word as gospel, like they just listened. And then to have people maybe kind of question me or not show up when they said they were was really disheartening. And then I was mad at myself for not inviting all those people. So I was done. The next day I got a grip on the situation, thank God. But this is before I knew better. This is before I saw what could happen. What's that picture of that guy digging in the mine and he decides to quit and the diamond is right here and he's right here? Like, I had this huge thing in front of me, right? I had all of you guys in front of me. And I was like, I'm not doing this anymore. Thank goodness I changed my mind. And Mark was like, what are you doing? Why are you doing this? He has questions. We need to talk. I'm like, okay. And then I was fine the next morning, but it was just too much all at once. And so if you've ever had days like that, that's okay. But don't be dumb. Come back, right? The only time we lose is if we stop showing up. And like Tanya said, you guys are all here. You're all showing up. That's half the battle right there, is to get your butt here, right? And I'm sure you had other things you might want to do tonight, but you showed up anyway. And so that's the really most important thing. And you never know when you hear that one thing that can make the total difference for you, right? Like maybe some weird thing I said made you go, oh my gosh, that's awesome. I'm going to remember that for always. Or Tanya, whatever she said, and you're like, yes, that's exactly what I needed to hear. And that's how it works. So the only time we lose is if we don't show up and we stop and we give up, because you just never know. Everything's just right there, just waiting for you. We just have to make sure, like, I think it was, I don't know, I should quote this because I'm super bad at quotes. But I think it might have been Mark Cuban, maybe Tanya will remember, where it was something about work like somebody's taking this away, trying to take this away from you 24/7. Like you're in stiff competition with somebody else, because later, 9 years down the road, you'll look back and go, you know what? I didn't get to go to that one dinner, or I didn't go to that one thing 9 years ago, and I'm so glad I did, because it got me this person and my team. And now look, and now I can go to any of that stuff that I want to. And it never matters. I don't have a job that gets in the way. I don't have a boss that's telling me, a pager. Nothing is telling me that I can't do any of those things. And that means so, so much. Like you see Tanya's post, she's like the queen of lifestyle posts. I absolutely want to be her, like her when I grow up, because it's the best thing ever. And I always tell them, follow her and watch how she does it, because selling lifestyle, that's huge. And she's so good at it. Like, I don't know how she does it, but the girl's on fire. I should just cut and paste, or I don't know, but then I'm like pretending to be someone else. I'm not, but she's so good at it. And you know what? I sit and look at it and go, oh my gosh, I want to do what she does. And then I'm like, wait a minute, I do what she does. What the heck? That's so, but really, like, she sells me it every time without ever saying LifeVantage, without ever saying product. She just makes me want to be in that. And so don't be Tanya. Don't be Nikki, just be you and find your place in this whole thing and don't give up ever.
3 points. Don't be dumb.
Yeah, that was a great point. Gosh.
Just be you and don't give up.
Don't be dumb. Don't be dumb.
But that the showing up, that's everything, especially when it's hard. When it is so hard, even if it means you show up and you don't show your face and you just keep your screen off, still show up, because like Nikki said, you just never know when you're going to hear that one thing that is exactly what you needed to hear. And I'll never forget when we had to move to Idaho. I don't know, I had stuff going on, and I listened to a Monday morning call. Tess Wolthouse, she was speaking, and I heard her story, and I was like, that's me. Like, for the first time ever, I heard somebody that was just like me. And I immediately reached out to whomever I could, probably Michelle, and said, I need to get her number through somebody to talk to her. And it just was so huge for me to hear somebody that was so vulnerable that I could relate to. And that's what the showing up does for you. It just reminds you of why you're here, what we have our hands on, and that it is possible, and that we all have a different kind of story. And I think that's the power that these Wednesday webinars are going to give to people through Facebook, just to share with them, everybody's got a story, but here's the power that this opportunity could hold for you. So
and you know, one more thing, Tanya, you know, when it's hard, then you go up to your upline and go, this is hard today. I don't know what is going on, but whatever, just spill the beans, because, and don't sugarcoat everything and go, oh, it's fine, I'm doing good, it's great, whatever, because that doesn't get, you don't ever like want to hear, like, we don't want you to sugarcoat it. We want you to say if things are hard, because then we can help you. And most likely we have like 47 stories that are just like that we can totally relate to, or we can go, gosh, that sucks. I know that sucks. I've been there, whatever. And that's all you need to hear, right? Sometimes. And so just make sure that you're just real with us and let us all know, and reach out for help, because the last thing we need is for you to not, you know, to feel bad. I don't want to make Tanya feel bad. I don't want to tell her that this is hard. She doesn't care. She feels bad if you don't tell her. She wants you to tell her. And that makes it so that she can help kind of pitch it for you and figure out what you can do for next time. And one time I went to a meeting, and it was one of the Saturday trainings, and the whole entire 4 hours I sat there, and I was like, okay, I knew all the stuff they were talking about, right? And some of you can relate, like, you're like, yep, okay, yep. And then Mark said, somebody asked a question, well, if they think this and they don't agree with this and whatever, and then this is what he said, well, just remember, you're right and they're wrong. And I was like, yes, oh my gosh, like, that was the easiest thing to say, but that was my, like, thank you. That was exactly what I needed to say right now. And that's why I'm here. This entire 4 hours I sat here for you to say that, and now my day has been made, and I remember it for always. And isn't that so weird? Like, it's just something little, but it was exactly just like with Tess. And Tanya saying she needed to hear that, and that's amazing. And like Tanya talking about Tess is a cousin in this business. She's not in our line. She's not in our upline or our downline. She's our cousin. And if we would reach out to her, she'll be there, because that's just how LifeVantage is. And you find those people you can relate to, and that's why you go to events, because then you can listen to somebody say something and you'll just latch onto it. And tomorrow night, I can guarantee you 100% Blue will say something that you go, oh my gosh, that's amazing. Like, it will have your notebooks, because he is extraordinarily good. Like, I don't even know how to say it. He used to be a firefighter, and just in like a small podunk town in Arizona, fighting fires with his family. And they all work for the fire department. And then he decided he was going to do this, and he's killing it. But you know why I think he's killing it is because he cares about people, and he listens more than he talks. And I'm not doing a good job of that, because I've been talking like nonstop for probably 30 minutes. But that's what Tanya wanted me to do, I hope. But anyway, Blue's amazing. So make sure you listen to him For sure, for sure, for sure.
Nikki, people are saying you're so relatable and so fabulous. And Jessica said, this is so good. Like,
Aw.
you just always, that's what I love about you. Like, from the beginning, you guys, I remember in Nashville, Nashville, and yeah, we were in this amazing hotel, and Kyle and I were looking for Nikki and Mitch, and we couldn't see them through all this brush, like in the middle of the hotel. So we had this thing, we went, caw. It led us to each other. I'm signaling the word caw, and it's never stopped. But I say that to say, like Nikki said, she wouldn't have been here with us had she not like sucked it up and showed up again. And I remember once too, telling one of my first distributors after like one of the first elite academies we went to, I was like, I can't wait to have our own team and we're all gathered together and we can just work together and love each other and train and whatever. And then I don't know how many years later it was, and we were in this hotel room and she was there with me, and we had all these ladies and we were all standing up and sharing stories and being raw and vulnerable and real. And she says to me, this is what you imagined, this is what you pictured, and now you have that. And I was like, I did.
That's not nice.
But that's what happens. Like, you just have to, it will happen for you. You just have to keep going. And if it's not happening at the pace you want, it's probably for a reason. It means we need to do a self-check, or we need to re-examine something in ourselves that maybe we're not allowing our guard down enough to be able to be that person other people need. But yeah, you're so amazing, Nikki. I just love you. Always
right
so
back at you. Right back at you, sister. But check out Jessica. She's got some stuff going on here. I'm digging the face mask, sister. I love it. Looks good. But you know, and that's the thing, like, and I don't know. And Tanya's amazing, and being able to have her as your leader and looking up to her and knowing that it's not always easy for her either, but she just keeps going. And we all just keep going, and the good outweighs the bad. And it's just like having this whole group of people. It's like a hand-picked family. And, you know, and being on these things, like I see you guys that are always on my calls, and it's so fun to see, oh, there's those guys, you know, and it's just so fun. Like I think of Sheila. Sheila and I were in the airport. I was in the bathroom at the airport. I don't know where that was. I think we were going to Phoenix or something. But all of a sudden she goes, are you Nikki? Nikki Elsing? And I'm like, she's not even on here anymore, I don't think. But I was like, in the airport in Phoenix, like, yeah, like, who's this lady? Like, why is she talking to me? And how does she know my name? And then she's like, I'm Sheila, look, because I've never really seen her in person. I only see her here. So it's so fun just to have those relationships with people. And so, you know, knowing that this handpicked family that we all get to have is super fun, and we just get to be us, and people love us through all of our weird stuff that we've got going on. And I thank you guys for like saying I'm relatable and all that stuff. Sometimes I can, because I'm no bull crap, I just kind of let you know, oh, there's Sheila, I see her now. I just kind of say it like it is, and sometimes that's awesome, and sometimes that isn't awesome. Like, it just depends on what people think. But definitely, you know, dream big. And I really feel like this is our year, you guys. Like, in all the stuff people are dealing with, including every single one of us, we've all had changes. But to have a company that pays you 5 days early because life sucks right now, kind of, that's awesome. I only remember that happening, well, I think it was did they do it last month too with maybe a couple days early? But the other time was when we were all in Florida for the hurricane. Or there was a hurricane, which I can't remember which one. But there was a hurricane, and they paid us early then too, because a lot of the people were in down south, Louisiana, and those types of things, and they all got hit really hard. And so they paid us early because they knew that people needed the money. And that is not, like, if any of you are in payroll or HR, any of that stuff, that is not an easy feat. And to know that we can do that, and to be able to have corporate staff that we go, hey, you know what, we're not really sure about the slide and the corporate PowerPoint with a thing. Can you make the letters bigger so people can read it? And then it's like, the letters are bigger the next time you see it, and you're like, oh my God, they listened to me. That's amazing. Or we have a chat box that we go, hey, you know what, Sarah reminds, this will mention her a minute. Can you tell me what that is? That's the filler in the such and such. I have a lady asking one. I have absolutely no idea. I probably should know, but I don't know everything about it. And then all of a sudden I get this reply this long telling us what it is and why it's there. And then they say, hey, you know, we pride ourselves on the quality of our products, but if you have a better suggestion, we're always open to options. And I'm like, wow, like them saying that is amazing, right? Because they listen to us and they do things for us, and then they clap and they go, hey, Nikki, oh my gosh, great to see you. And why would they know one of us out of how many thousands of people? But they do, because you go up and you shake their hand and you tell them thank you, and you make them know who you are. And that's the kind of stuff we're talking about, you know? And heck, I've ridden an elevator in a hospital here in town when I worked for a different one, not the one I was at before. And I rode up in the elevator with the president of the hospital. He had no idea who I was. And I'd been there for how long, right? And that's just not the way it happens. With us, we're so, so lucky. But you have to be uncomfortable and stretch yourself and introduce yourself and shake your hand. The other night with that corporate PowerPoint, you guys, when I did that last week, whatever night I did that, I'd never seen it before. I've never seen it done in full before. I only watched like the first 10 to 15 minutes. I scrolled through it when Maria sent it to me and said, hey, Nikki, you should use this tonight. And I'm like, oh, well, maybe. And then I'm like, I'm not using this. In my head, I'm like, that's cute, Maria, but I'm not using it. I didn't tell her that, but I was like, I'm not using this. And I'm like, okay, maybe I'll look. So then I looked at it. I listened to one, and then I did it. And I was completely out of my comfort zone. I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't know what the next slide was going to be till I pushed the button based on the memory of barely knowing, but I did it. And I loved it. And I had the best time doing it. And I did it under 45 minutes, and I was super proud of myself when I was done. I'm like, yeah, I love that. That's amazing. And it's beautiful. And I thought it looked so nice. And I didn't have technical difficulties. So I was like on cloud 9. And so that, you know, and it was uncomfortable for me. But I know after 9 years that if I'm comfortable, I'm not growing. And I need to be uncomfortable. So I made myself do it. I got done and I texted Maria, thank you for nudging me and making me use that PowerPoint. Because she didn't make me. She just nudged me. And I'm like, I had a blast. Thank you. That was so awesome. So when Tanya goes, hey, how about you? Then be like, it's okay to go, are you kidding? No way. But then think about it and do it, because it's in your best interest what she's mentioning. But yeah, it's so fun. Too fun. I love it.
Yeah, I cannot wait for the recording to come out from that, Nikki. I still haven't watched it, but there's so much buzz about your Zoom and how good it was. That PowerPoint is in your back office in the playbook, under the playbook. And I think they just updated it again. They're just kind of making sure that it's good and compliant. The beautiful part about this is every Tuesday night, every Zoom we see from now on should be that PowerPoint. And that is huge for duplication. You know that every Tuesday night, for sure, without a doubt, they're going to see the exact same presentation. It's going to be a different delivery because people have different stories, but that is huge for duplication. That is the one thing we've been missing, and it's going to be.
And use it because it's compliant. So you don't have to worry you're saying stuff you're not supposed to. And you can listen to other people over and over and over again before you do it yourself, so that you put your own spin on it. And it's beautifully done, and it's updated. I know that when I first started, one of the things I hated was trying to take, oh gosh, hers is great and his is great and I should meld them, and how can I make it into mine? And ooh, it looks terrible. Like, how am I'm no PowerPoint expert, right? And now I don't have to worry about it. I just pull it up and poof, there it is. And so it's just a really nice thing to have. Now, Tanya, I have the replay I can send or post if you want.
Please.
And then I had a really hard time finding it in the back office. And so I have the folder, unless you have a way to find it easier, but I have the folder that Maria sent me. But I have to ask if that will continue to get updated then, or if that folder is, I don't know. Because this whole marketing playbook thing is still new to us too, you know what I mean? So I don't know how, if it, once you have it, it constantly, you know, re-updates, I'm not sure, but.
Yeah, please post it. That'd be great.
And then Joanne did it also on Friday night. So there should be the replay of both, so I can post both of those too. And the other thing, you guys, is really quick. I know everybody's busy. I don't even know what time it is. 9:40. Good. We're here till 10:30, right? Oh, just kidding.
Go girl.
I'm just joking around. But I'm working on, these last bit here. We have like thousands, I feel like, because I feel like I never get it done. But 1,000 Zooms that have been played, right? And then they send out the replay and we're like, oh my gosh, I love that one. Where'd it go? And you can't find it back. So I've been trying to put them into a Word document. So I'm trying to have people's bios, and then I have the YouTube link, and then I save it into a Zoom or into a folder in my Dropbox. And so that I have those to be able to share. And so I'm trying to put the final touches on that. And once I do, I'll spread that out and post the link. And so if you have Dropbox, awesome. If you don't, I get it, because I use mine like 90,000 times a year, for sure. But then you can just go in and you can send that. And then that way they get the bio and they get the replay. Or it's good for you if you need to listen before you're going to talk to someone, or feel like you need your ammo to kind of have the conversations. That's always nice too. I will tell you that some of them I gave up on finding the bios because I got too far behind. So if you want to have the bio and you're like, hey Nikki, I see that you have this Zoom but you don't have the bio, then you have my text message or my phone number. Good God, you have my phone number, so send it to me and then I'll add it in there. Because it's just a really easy way to be able to do it. So I have Joanne's and mine in there too, and Marissa's, because she used the new PowerPoint too, so I can send that off as well. Perfect.
All right. Well, thank you. Nikki, hold on. I'm going to thank you for coming on, and thank you for anybody that's watching this replay. I'm going to stop the recording.